A 16-year-old is charged with first-degree murder, but they're charged as an adult. A 15-year-old who is involved in the same crime is also charged with first-degree murder, but they're charged as a juvenile. And a 10-year-old who also committed first-degree murder is charged as a juvenile. Why? They're all under the age of 18. Why is only one of them charged as an adult? Well, I'm a criminologist, and I will explain it to you. Around 53,000 kids every year in the United States are charged as an adult. At the peak of the crime era in the 1990s, around 250,000 kids were charged as an adult. So we've dropped about 80%, and there are some reasons why. Less kids are being charged as an adult compared to the 90s, but around 1,000 kids every week are being charged as an adult. One, some states say, hey, if you are this age when you commit a crime, you're charged as an adult. And that is what happened to the 16-year-old in East St. Louis who murdered 5 people. The second option is a judge could decide, which involved in that same case is a 15-year-old co-defendant, and the judge is having to decide if that 15-year-old is charged as a juvenile or as an adult. Third, some states have it where you cannot be charged as an adult, period, if you're under the age of 12, like Missouri. If you are under the age of 12, you cannot be charged as an adult. So the 10-year-old in St. Louis who murdered a 7-month-old baby is being charged as a juvenile and will remain in that juvenile system. A lot of people under the age of 18 want to remain in the juvenile system because the juvenile court system is a lot more lenient. They are not as strict on punishment. They want to give these children a second chance. They want to rehabilitate them and send them back into the world. So the 10-year-old who's charged with first-degree murder in St. Louis for murdering a 7-month-old baby could, for example, do a year in the juvenile system and then do maybe probation until they're 18. And that is why it is so controversial whether this 10-year-old should be charged as an adult or a child. Now, I do want to say, I don't know what the 10-year-old is actually going to be sentenced to. I have no idea. I'm just using them as an example in this case. But it's controversial. Should that 10-year-old maybe stay in prison until they're 18? Should they never get out? Should they do no time at all? It's a very controversial topic. I will say something that I think is very important as well. Stats show that Black children are more likely to be charged as an adult versus white children. Also, Black children are more likely to be detained than white children, and they often receive harsher punishments. I also want to say that data shows that children who are charged as adults reoffend more often than children who are charged as a juvenile. One study found that about 30% of children who were charged as adults reoffended within a year versus 19% reoffended whenever they were charged as a juvenile and stayed in the juvenile system. And as a criminologist, we are starting to learn why. Why is that? What is so different about being charged as an adult versus a juvenile, and why are they reoffending if they're charged as an adult, receiving a harsher punishment?